Why does the Outer Space Treaty struggle to define space weapons? Have you ever wondered why the Outer Space Treaty has such a hard time defining space weapons? This question is vital as we look toward the future of space exploration and the role of space law. The Outer Space Treaty, established in 1967, is the foundation of international space law. It clearly prohibits placing nuclear weapons and other weapons of mass destruction in outer space. However, it does not provide a clear definition or prohibition for conventional weapons like anti-satellite weapons, lasers, or kinetic energy weapons. This lack of clarity creates challenges for regulating military activities in space. One reason for this struggle is the ambiguous language used in the treaty. Terms like weapon and peaceful use of outer space are not clearly defined. This vagueness allows countries to interpret military activities as either defensive or scientific. As a result, nations can create loopholes that enable them to weaponize space while claiming they are engaged in peaceful exploration. Another factor is the treaty's failure to specify where outer space begins. This lack of a clear boundary complicates the regulation of weapons that might be placed in low Earth orbit or the upper atmosphere. Without a defined line between airspace and outer space, countries could deploy weapons in areas not explicitly covered by the treaty and argue that they are in compliance. Additionally, the Outer Space Treaty lacks enforcement mechanisms. There are no penalties or legal consequences for violations, meaning that adherence to the treaty is voluntary. This reduces its effectiveness in preventing the deployment or testing of space weapons. For astronauts and space missions, this uncertainty poses challenges. Space agencies must prepare for scenarios involving space debris from weapon tests or conflicts. They also need to consider the security of satellites that are critical for mission operations and the potential for hostile actions in orbit. Understanding these legal and security challenges is essential for astronauts who depend on a safe and stable space environment for their scientific research and exploration. In summary, the Outer Space Treaty struggles to define space weapons due to vague terminology, unclear boundaries for outer space, lack of enforcement, and the evolving nature of military technology in space. These issues complicate efforts to maintain space as a safe domain for peaceful missions and astronaut activities.